everyone. Welcome to At Home with Sally. I'm Sally Clarkson, and I have the biggest privilege in the world to be with so many friends from all over the world who join me every week to listen to my stories, inspiration, biblical encouragement, and I am just so glad that you're here today. Thanks so much for joining me. Hi friends, welcome to January, a new year. I'm trying to decide what I think about this year. This is Sally Clarkson, and I just want to welcome you to At Home with Sally. And I am sitting here on my Sunday afternoon, and I was praying, thinking about some things that I thought would be maybe helpful to share with you. I kind of always assume that maybe whatever I'm going through, you might be going through too. And that's where I share from. But anyway, it's my desire to encourage you today. I thought my son Nathan's poem, if you want to look at it on my Instagram or Facebook page, was hysterical about, okay, I have mixed feelings about you last year and going into this year. But anyway, it was kind of a comparison of someone breaking up with a girlfriend or boyfriend. I thought it was hysterical. But anyway, it was about, the maybe confused feelings we have about going into this new year. Oh my goodness. What is ahead? I'm praying that COVID will just leave the universe, especially mine. But anyway, I feel like sometimes when I get my letters and observe all of you precious ones, that, what we're doing, wherever you are in life, if you're a single woman, if you're a married woman with no kids or with 1,000 kids, or if you are an older woman who is bearing the latter years of your life and all the different issues, we are living in a fallen world, a broken world. And sometimes it gets very tiring to keep your ideals up or just to feel like keeping going. And so I thought I might address a little bit of how I have felt about that before. Sometimes I'll be doing great. My plan of the flag, my commitment is to be good and gracious and love God and honor Him. And sometimes the realities of my life are, I am kind of tired of this, Lord. And so I thought I might address that today because there are times, like when I do my decluttering my soul, I'll realize that I need to leave all of the issues, all of the weird relationships. I just have to say, if we're living in the world, we have some really imperfect relationships, both with our family, with our friends, with people in church, with Christians. We are just not living around perfect people, and unfortunately, we aren't either. But whether it's that or just the news, or my goodness, there have been a lot of disasters in the past couple of years. And lately, it's been in my home state of Colorado with these incredible fires rushing through what was a really beautiful area of Colorado. But anyway, I feel like occasionally darkness seems just to come out of the blue, kind of like the sun setting. It just comes out. The light goes away. The darkness is there, and it clouds my emotions and my thoughts. And the light ekes out of my soul suddenly when I glance at my heart and what's going on there. Sometimes I find myself in a place, tell me that you feel like this too occasionally. Sometimes I want to run away. I want to run away from ministry. I think, I don't know if I'm doing any good, and besides, I'm not perfect anyway. Or sometimes I think, could my family just not be dramatic, or my children, or my husband, or life, or church, whatever. And sometimes I'll just think, just to get away, just to run away forever. But anyway, away from the challenges of relationships with my loved ones, away from the constant needs and demands of life, cooking, cleaning, work of every kind. For me, lots of deadlines, lots of messages, lots of publishers and editors, and then it happens all over again. I would love to flee all sorts of drama, as I mentioned a minute ago. As I look at my 4 children as a mom, all children have to go through stages. They just do, friends. It starts out with toddlerhood and the terrible twos, or the pushing against your boundaries and learning how to train them, how to be patient with them. Well, actually, it starts out with babyhood, when no one sleeps. And should I do this kind of sleep philosophy or that kind of sleep philosophy? Then toddlerhood. And it keeps going. But then it really begins to escalate in your late elementary school years, when your children start tearing up over things like, as I've said before, emptying the dishwasher or doing a common chore. Then it can explode with teens. And in my case, either my children cried or got angry. There were 2 different major reactions, or pushed against us. Though they long for love and acceptance then too. It grows more serious with young adults because the issues from morality to work, to school, to jobs, to paying bills, to making right choices for life partners. Oh my goodness, it gets serious then, and we have so many things we have to deal with. And then there is, in almost every child or every grown child, a period of self-realization or self-actualization that has to take place with all maturing young adults, without which there will never be humility. If someone doesn't accept their flaws or the fact that they also make mistakes just like their mom and dad, then there will never be humility. So if you're in that phase, you need to learn that you are imperfect too and to give grace. Anyway, acceptance of a fallen world. There's all of us get so tired of this, of all the difficult things that are going on. Do you have to accept the consequences of a fallen world, or you will never get beyond despair? There's a sense of humility that we learn to give other imperfect beings grace when we realize that we will never be perfect. It's okay to feel like life is just plain hard sometimes, because for many of us, for all of us, at some point or at many points, it is very hard. And if you feel the burden of life, don't feel guilty about that. It's okay to say, wow, this is harder than I thought. I was talking to one of my wonderful kids today, and they said, I'm sorry your life was so hard, Mama. That really made me feel good. Oh, so they can see that I had to make a lot of good choices. But anyway, in those moments, all of us must learn to give ourselves grace for ourselves, or we will explode from unrealistic expectations. We're putting so many pressures on ourselves as mothers. Each time we find we're too busy to cook and we opt for fast food, we feel guilty. Or we're too exhausted to clean and we think I'll have to put that off until tomorrow or the next day. Or so hectic in our lives that we didn't do a devotional with our children for a whole week. You know what I'm saying. We feel absolutely defeated, and we think that somehow we have failed. Well, we all fail here and there with our children, with our husbands, with our friends. But the point is that we need to find a way to move forward so that we don't stay in the place of darkness. It's incredibly important that we do set standards, that we do go for what we think is on the heart of Christ. But to live within these great ideals, as I've said many times before, many of you heard me say this, we must hold ourselves to a standard of grace, not perfection. Each of us is a miracle, a work of art, an expression of the artist God for our personality, the way we look, the way we are. And if I look really hard at the beauty of my sweet ones, my family, my friends, this world, if I look beyond the irritating, difficult moments, I can find and be in awe of the sweetness that God has allowed me to share in, that He has shared with me. It's simple to see all the flaws in my children, my husband, myself. It would be easy for me to take blame for their failures, since I am the mother and the wife that live in this story. And it would be easy for me to be responsible for training them and saying it's my fault. But that's neither healthy nor biblical. And so I just wanted to talk today about a couple of, actually 3 things that I am doing with myself, that I'm practicing as a commitment of a way of thinking to help me to gently move beyond darkness and blame and guilt into a place of health, because you can't stay there or else it'll poison you. Number 1 is I'm learning to assume the best about people in my life and to choose to love them according to their needs and their flaws. I recognize that others are growing, struggling, living with their imperfect selves, and they often act that out as I try to be the best person I know how to be with them. I need to accept them in their context. We have to realize that our little one is not plotting against us to make our life miserable by being needy. Our children express their needs through crying and whining, our little ones and our big ones, to let me know that something doesn't feel right in their world. I don't need to take it on as blame. I need to look at it and say, okay, what is going on here? What is in their heart? I want to see this person in context and give them grace, because I'm going to live by grace. It is a grace for me to be patient and to seek to bring comfort and, again, grace to any situation. It's the same with my teen and my adult child. Their motivation in life is not primarily just to frustrate me. They're frustrated with the imperfections of life, of which, to them, often it seems that I am one of the imperfections. But God encourages me and has encouraged me for many, many years to move in the direction of being long-suffering, of being patient, of being humble, if I'm going to identify with Christ, his servant leadership, his putting aside his needs. And also, the more I reflect on Christ, the more grateful I am that he is saying, Sally, I'm with you. I understand. This is hard. I want to help you. I want to take your burdens. I am the coach who gets to encourage the people around me through their frustration. My husband is not necessarily mad at me, but he might be frustrated with bills, with long hours of work, with sleepless nights, with the things that keep falling apart. And my friends also have a context that may cause them, for the moment, to be frustrated or angry. And you know what? You might be that way too. Number 2, I'm asking God to help me see people from his perspective. I told my extroverted children that I do not want them to feel bad about being loud and bigger than life. Do you have a couple of extroverts in your family? God made them and me. I'm kind of a mix, the way he did. And he actually liked them as they were and as the way that he made them. They are acceptable for who they are. God's design is good, and our personalities have a unique purpose, if only we can remember that. Look at always talking Peter. I mean, he was always talking. He was always verbally processing. Do you have a person like that in your house? Jesus actually called Peter the rock. What about David, who danced before God with all of his might and pleased God through it, who was constantly making mistakes and sinning? Or what about the too quiet child who's timid? Perhaps this gentleness will serve to open the hearts of those that need a quiet, not talking spirit. Look for the good attributes of everyone you meet. Ask God to help you see people the way he sees them. Affirm people for their God-given qualities. Number 3 is, this is my verse that I've used a lot in the past year. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Do to others what you would like them to do to you. Do unto others verse. My life, my personality, my idealism, I have lots of moody times. Not all the time. I also have lots of euphoric times, joyful. Joel says, you see more beauty and goodness and miracles in creation when we're walking along than anybody I know. Oh, by the way, look at that sunshine, Joel. Look at that sunset. Look at that swan, the way it's just gliding on the canal. I'm glad he thinks that that's what I do. When I'm depressed and I have darkness, sometimes I cry, burst into tears, or I just sit there quietly with tears running down my cheeks. Sometimes when I'm in a hurry, I'm impatient. But you know what I want? I want everyone in the world to make me an exception, just to understand why I'm grumpy. I want people to give me a pass. I want perfect understanding during my hormones, and I long for gentle love and affection. And affection, in my case, wins the day, and encouragement. Even if I don't always have what feels like it meets my needs, I can understand that my others long for something that their particular selves and personality needs at that moment, at that phase. Maybe that's what they want when they keep exposing their imperfect moods to me too. Now, I'm not talking about not training, not helping our children to learn not to be whiners or complainers. That just about does me in. Whining, complaining, criticizing. We need to slowly train them out of it. Use the 24 family ways. I just went through a whole series on that. But I'm talking about how to understand, how to approach them as I'm witnessing these things. Asking myself, is that little one too exhausted to be able to handle life in a mature way? Am I being too demanding on a 2-year-old? Then I will be patient. I will cuddle them. I'll put them to bed. Is my teen feeling rejected by his peers and needs to talk to me late in the night even though I am sleep deprived? Then he doesn't need more criticism. He doesn't need another rule because I'm fearful about what might happen in his world. He needs a friend. Is my husband discouraged about something or someone at work and needs me to have time to unravel it? Then I need to really be patient with this. I think rather than focusing on the bad, it's more beneficial for us to focus on faith and the potential someday to be realized after years of praying, seeing God work through the moments, that I learned to choose to be patient, to be kind, to be sympathetic. Faith that God can take my honest offering of steadfastness, love, and hope if I keep going to that place, and He will make it a beautiful legacy. God will make up for my deficits because that's why Jesus had to die, because we sin, we make mistakes, and He forgives, and He brings grace. God, through me, will fill in the cracks, the deficits in my life. And in order to be the love, the words, and the caress of Christ to those in my life, I have to learn eventually to relinquish my own needs for the moment. This relinquishing happens 1 minute at a time, one detail of my life at a time. But this sort of love will change the course of my family's life forever. So, it's okay to be down, to be dark, to be dismal. But as we mature and as we practice giving grace to ourselves first, then to others, accepting people in context, giving them what we long for, then we will find little by little a gentle way forward, and we will eventually leave a legacy of maturity, of wisdom, of unconditional love, and we will come to feel that more from our precious God. I just want to pray for all of you right now as you go into January, coming out maybe exhausted a little bit, or maybe you're perfectly happy, good for you. But whatever you're facing, I want you to know that I am praying for you. God is championing you. He will never leave you. He is for you. And that little by little, just take a breath. Maybe take the day off. Maybe go eat chocolate, go watch some kind of film that gives you hope, go for a walk, go out for dinner or order it in, whatever you need to do, it's okay. But there is a way forward, and your life is so precious and matters so very much. Dear Heavenly Father, help these precious ones today to know that their life matters, that you see them. Help them to know that the reason when you looked out on the multitudes with compassion is because you knew that they were weary and downtrodden. The reason that you came was because you understood that people, blessed are those who suffer. Blessed are those who long for your righteousness. Blessed are the brokenhearted. In the Sermon on the Mount, you reminded us that you care for us in our times of need and in our times of despair. We love you, Lord, and we long for your help. Bless these precious ones, Lord, and bless me this year. Can you bless us with some sunshine moments, some times of great light and beauty and goodness, and bless us with eyes to see it, to appreciate where we are. But bless us, Lord, with your companionship and with just a little bit of sparkle in life. Lord, I just pray that these who are down might feel your closeness and your care for them, as I have felt so many times in my life. Thank you that you are with me now. Thank you that you see the days ahead in 2022. Be with us and let us feel your grace, and let us give ourselves the grace that you desire us to know. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, my friends, I hope you have a good Monday, the first day in a new year. Bye-bye. I hope you've enjoyed our time together today and that you'll join me next week. Be sure to look for more inspiration on my blog at sallyclarkson.com. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.